In 2020, thanks to the global pandemic, my 5-year-old was home with me for over 300 consecutive days. During that process, I was constantly trying to find ways for him to express his creativity and asked him all the time, do you want to write stories together? The amount of excuses this kid came up with was epic. Oh, we did that last week. Oh, I don't have any stories I want to write. Oh, I don't want to do it. It was just nonstop whining. And it was so hard as a parent to deal with wanting your kid to be creative and not being able to get to give the right prompts. And then about a month ago, I finally cracked the code. I got this series of books called Who Would Win? And it is as formulaic as it sounds. They give you 2 different animals and they ask who would win in a fight? And they walk through and they're like, here's the difference between tigers and lions. And then look, they get into a fight and they decide who would win. And the same is true for all these books. So we've got tiger versus lion, polar bear versus grizzly bear, falcon versus hawk, tarantula versus scorpion. He will not stop reading these.
A domestic alligator and a Burmese python see each other. The alligator bites the python, but it has a strange taste.
So he started reading and reading these over and over again. And now that he knows the formula, he's creating these books on his own all the time. So we've got leopard versus jaguar, squid versus octopus. Do you see how long this squid's arms are? It's awesome. And this one's my favorite, Tyrannosaurus and Velociraptor versus Spinosaurus. And he follows the same formula as the books. They see each other, they start to fight, and then who would win? In this case, it's the Tyrannosaurus and the Velociraptor. The point that I'm trying to make here is that creating content is not necessarily about having the best idea or the best brainstorm. It's about figuring out a formula that works for you, taking the inputs that you're already familiar with, putting them into a formula, and then repeating it over and over and over again with different variations, whether that's the different animals that you're choosing for your Who Would Win book or the keywords that you're using, the topics that you're talking about. They all can follow the same idea and they can fit together in the same way that these books do. And then if you get enough posts going, you can create a roundup post, which is basically the equivalent of Ultimate Shark Rumble. I feel like you need to say it that way, don't you? So in this video, I'm going to share with you a way that you can figure out what your formula is, what your inputs are for that, the keywords that you're going to use to create your content. So that way you can take the same idea, repeat it in different variations, and create a content plan with that information in a very limited amount of time. So stick with me. Hi, I'm Meg Casebolt, the founder of Love at First Search, where we help online entrepreneurs to create content that will help their websites show up in search result and then turn those readers into leads, subscribers, and sales. One of the things that I see people struggle with when they start to create content for SEO is that feeling of, oh my gosh, I have so many different things to talk about and I don't know what order to put them in and I don't know exactly which keyword to start with and I don't know where to begin. Instead of worrying about all the different things that you can write, today I'm going to walk you through how you can use that formula and take specific keywords and create a series of posts that each of your posts can be found for a specific keyword, but together they can create a larger strategy. So let's say that you're a Pilates instructor and you're trying to figure out how to get started with creating content. You can come and just type the word Pilates into Google and notice those things that are showing up in the autocomplete. And maybe half of these can end up being blog posts to get you started. What's the difference between Pilates versus yoga? What are some common Pilates exercises? What kind of equipment can I use? And should I go to a mat or a reformer class? Those could easily be, each of them, their own blog posts. Another place to look for those ideas that can stack on top of each other is to come to the People Also Ask section. Here's one that says, is Pilates good for weight loss? And as I clicked on that, other questions that are related to it start to show up underneath it. And so you can kind of build on each other, and Google recognizes that these topics are related to each other. So if you have Pilates for weight loss and Pilates for belly fat and why am I gaining weight doing Pilates, maybe this is 2 or 3 different blog posts that you want to write about, and then you can write a bigger post and link to those 3 blog posts that says, here's how you can use Pilates to lose weight. And you could do specific targeting groups and say, here are the Pilates exercises you should do to get rid of your muffin top or to increase your glutes or make your thighs bigger, whatever these specific things are. You can know the exact things that people are looking for, and then you can link it into a larger blog post all about lower body Pilates exercises on a reformer machine. So knowing that you can kind of stack these blog posts into each other, you don't have to do everything all at once in your blog posts. Each of them can answer a specific query, and then you can tie them together. You can also then use this information. I just took this drop down of Pilates exercises and I went a little bit more detailed and got more specific about what it is that I'm looking for. And I just pulled the Keywords Everywhere tool. I have a whole video about that if you're not familiar with it, but I just pulled the Keywords Everywhere tool onto here and I got some additional related keywords about Pilates exercises for abs, Pilates exercises you can do at home, Pilates exercises for weight loss or for beginners. You can use the keywords that people are already searching for to build out your plan and then link them all together into something sort of like this, the 12 exercises that really work your core. You can build up to those larger posts. I have a whole other video about how to generate these content ideas that I'll link to right here. If you're just getting started with blogging, you may want to just pick an idea out of the air and you can create a content plan based on the keywords on the Google search engine results page or some of the other tools that I've talked about. But if you've been blogging for a while, you can actually take the content that you've already produced and build on that in a different way. So let me give you an example. Last month, during one of our group coaching sessions in my Attract and Activate SEO membership, we were looking at our Google Search Console. And one of my students, Annie, found some really amazing keywords that she's going to build on. Annie is a career coach for lawyers. She helps them negotiate raises, decide whether they want to start their own law firms. One of the specific decisions that she helps her clients make is whether they want to work in a law firm or be an in-house counsel. And as we were looking through Annie's keywords, one of Annie's top blog posts is all about how lawyers can write better resumes. She's a career coach after all. She wants to be found by people who are actively in the process of writing legal resumes. And as we were looking at Annie's specific keywords for that one blog post that she wrote about resumes, we saw all these great keywords like transactional lawyer resume and resume writing for attorneys and law firm resume. She's got some really fantastic keywords pointing to that post. And as we were looking at it and thinking about any opportunities that we saw for that post or any ways that she could optimize it more, and I'll talk a little bit about that in this video, we noticed something that didn't quite fit in with the rest of them. Annie was ranking for the search term cover letter for in-house counsel position, which is such a specific keyword. It's a perfect keyword to build a blog post off of because Annie wants to be attracting those people who are writing cover letters for in-house counsel positions. And she specifically works with people who are trying to decide if they want to go in-house counsel or stay general and work in a law firm. And so we looked through all of Annie's keywords for any more keywords that she's already ranking for about being an in-house counsel. We also saw in-house counsel cover letter, in-house career coach, people who are specifically at that transition point in their careers. And so knowing that we had those keywords that Annie was already looking for, that they would be her ideal client, then we went on the quest to find the supporting keywords for it and the future blog posts that we were going to write. Let's go look at the search engine results. And just in looking at those autocomplete suggestions, we have some more ideas of things that Annie might be able to be found for in terms of in-house counsels. Like, should I do in-house counsel or go to a law firm or be a general counsel? What's the role of the in-house counsel? And if we turn on Keywords Everywhere, we can get even more ideas of the things that Annie could be talking about. Like, what's the typical salary for somebody who's an in-house counsel? What's the role of attorney-client privilege for in-house counsels? Do you have to be registered in certain states to be an in-house counsel? So by figuring out what are the specific questions that people have when they're thinking about applying for a job as an in-house counsel, she could create a blog post about exactly what the target keyword was that set us down this path, how to write a cover letter as an in-house counsel, what to put on your resume when you're an in-house counsel, how much can you expect to make if you're an in-house counsel, should you be in-house or general, should you work at a law firm or should you work specifically within an organization? And the people who are searching for these specific terms are Annie's perfect client. So it doesn't matter so much to me that there are only, 100 or 150 search volume here, because these are people that are right at the precipice of making these life decisions. And if Annie can show up in their search results and be the person that is the expert on this transition, then they will absolutely book a call with her or join her group program. So if you're feeling stuck about what you should be writing, come up with a general idea, a theme, dig into the search engine results, the autocomplete options, the people also ask options, and figure out if there's a way that each one of those could potentially be a blog post for you. And then you can go into as much detail as you need to about that specific. So here's the example of hammerhead versus bull shark. It goes into a lot of detail. And then once you have the detailed picture, the blog post that goes into a lot of detail, then you can zoom up and you can do more of a roundup post of here's everything that you need to know on this topic. Here's 16 different sharks and who would win in that situation. It actually has a shark final four. It's very funny. Planning your SEO content doesn't have to take forever. It doesn't have to be super complex. You can take these specific keyword ideas, plan them into blog posts, and then optimize them using the 8-step blogging process that I've already talked about. So you don't have to spend hours and hours doing all your keyword research. If you start with just one idea, you come up with 4 or 5 related but not the same keywords, you can probably come up with a month worth of content ideas in about 15 or 20 minutes. It doesn't have to take forever to come up with these plans. We don't need them to be super complex. The most important thing is that you start creating. Not that you get so trapped in the planning phase that you go into analysis paralysis and never end up actually publishing. Once you've done your keyword research, make sure to share what you found in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back next week with more SEO and content planning tips. See you then.
If a great white shark and a wolverine met, a wolverine would have a stronger jaw.